Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Wood. I live in Napanee, Ontario, Canada, and I am a 4-year revenge retaliation, attempted murder, identity theft victim from Lennox and Addington, Ontario Provincial Police for speaking of their crimes: injuring, torturing, sex assault, kidnapping, medical blacklisting, file falsifications, false arrest through hospitals that are aiding cops in their crimes, lies, time buying, cover ups, arrest refusals, false arrest, sodomy, sex assault. My mother stalked and murdered. My 2 dogs were tortured and killed. I spoke police crimes, the human homeless trafficking out of a place called the Morning Star Mission here in Napanee. As a result, I became a target. Back in 2019, cops that are very seriously dangerous and involved with the human trafficking, sex slavery, trafficking children to pedophiles, adults to sex offenders. They're guilty of kidnapping and murders with harbored wanted sex offender inmates. Bill Waldridge, Blair Hardy. I will show you their pictures in a second, but the cops that are involved that need to be criminally arrested and felony charged, they are a threat to society and they're guilty of murder. Spencer Mills 14716. Whether Napanee or not, these cops have been transferring around to avoid lawsuits and arrest on themselves for their crimes. Spencer Mills 14716. Ex-chief or commander here in Napanee, year 2019, had me shot. Before he left, he drove a white Jeep Wrangler. He is a sex offender, pedophile, child sex, slavery, trafficking, and he's guilty of attempted murder. Spencer Mills 14716 again. Staff Sergeant, years 2019, 2021, kidnapping and sodomy sex assault. Shannon Cork, Robert Kane, 7224. Robert Lucas, Stacy, a mental health worker, and Shelley Huffner are all human traffickers here in Napanee. Lies, time buying, cover ups, arrest refusals, false arrest. I've been skull split. I've been brain injured, lung and kidney damage. When I eat, my food goes to the right side of my body. I've not been able to get medical help in 4 years because of lies against me about being a suicidal self-harmer while trying to save my life. Lies against me of having a long criminal record and history, not true. How cops are fucking casting their lies against their victims so they will not be believed of the crimes that are being put upon them by the fucking cops. Lies of having long criminal record and history, not true in any way, shape, or form. Lies of having long psychological record and history, not true in any way, shape, or form. I had not been to a hospital or a doctor in almost 7 to 10 years prior to me being shot by ex-OPP chief at my previous address on Center Street. That's when the lies, the time buying, and everything else began against me. Public needs to be aware the families of murdered and missing. It is Ontario Provincial Police who are committing these crimes. The human trafficking, full identity theft and changing, homicides, forced suicides, using inmates that they are harboring, and junkies from Napanee. And this is why and how they are getting away with it. I'm 51 years old and I've been full skull split, full identity theft change, and nothing I can do about it because it's OPP revenge. This is how they traffic, this is how they frame people, and this is how they murder their victims, all because of me speaking of their crimes back in 2019. The homeless trafficking out of a place called the Morning Star Mission here in Napanee. There's also a priest or a preacher, whatever his name is, named David Smith. This guy here, his name is Blair Frederick Hardy. He is the boyfriend to OPP cop Spencer Mills, and he is also a serial killing, drug trafficker, drug lacing, rape hound. He's guilty of lacing drugs to commit murders through addicts. This is another picture of him. He used to drive a Mercedes here in Napanee. He hangs out with a Shelley Barchet, or used to, who happens to be one Tyler Lake's mother, who happens to be a dog torturer, guilty of animal abuses, and guilty of murdering my dog Runt with a guy named Ray LeBlanc here in March 2023. This is Billy Wooldridge, Hells Angels Ontario chapter captain. He's a pedophile child stalker. He killed my mother in 2020, and he's guilty of my identity theft on me and attempted murder. Conveniently, OPP cannot touch him. He lives at 149 Center Street North, or was here in Napanee. Bald, glasses, sometimes a goatee. He frequents Loaf and Ale. He frequents Coffee Cravings. He frequents Picton, Ontario, and Toronto. He is a heroin addict. He's an escapee as well. And OPP are harboring him, which would, if he was to be arrested, would certainly implicate them. This is a picture of me, Chris Wood, of one of the deformings I've been through, serious neck stretching and skull deforming, and not being able to do a thing about it because it's revenge here through the cops and the doctors here. This was just called a headache or a hallucination and a delusion because of the bullshit lies against me from everybody stating I have long psychological record and history, so I'm not being believed about what has taken place with me. Kind of funny how I've been proving my crimes 100% and still not being able to do anything about it. There is 3 hospitals that are criminally and negligently involved in aiding OPP in their murders. They stole my blood and piss. This is why they're false arresting for blood, piss, print signatures, and everything else they need for identity theft, forgeries, framings, and frauds on their victims. This guy here, his name is Ray LeBlanc. He lives behind Mamma Mia's Pizzeria here in Napanee. He is a child groomer and he is a drug trafficker, and he's guilty of murders for OPP. This is Bill Wooldridge, the one that lives at 149 Center Street North, the Hells Angels Ontario chapter captain. The OPP take their orders from him and Blair Hardy, the one that drives the Mercedes or drove it. This is Jason Gimpy, Two-Step Van Alstyne. He frequents between Napanee and Kingston. He also stays at the Hub in Kingston, and he is guilty for the one selling the laced fentanyl at the Hub for the homeless overdoses to commit murder. This guy here, his name is Jack Clark. He was one of their victims back in 2021. Police had him murdered, and so did Jason Van Alstyne was with him when it happened. He's an OPP murder victim revenge. This is Jason Van Alstyne again. He is a Robert Kane, drug cop, drug fed, money paid, crackhead little piece of shit. Blair Hardy and Jason Van Alstyne. This is how OPP human traffic too, and this is their drug traffickers forum. He thinks that he is me. He thinks that we were switched at birth. He was stalking my mother, calling my mother mom, and thinks that he is Harry Potter as well. This guy's name is Bert Hustler. He's also involved too. All of these people are very seriously dangerous pieces of shit because they cannot and will not be touched by the cops. They are owned. The police here are owned by these lowlives. This is the bastard that tortured and killed my dog in March 2023. Tyler Teabag, Tube Steak Lake. The longer this goes on, the more damage is done, and the more I am going to lose my memories. I'm having trouble thinking today. I'm having trouble walking. I'm having trouble talking. My skull's been completely, totally split. My skull's been completely and totally deformed, especially a lot over the course of the day, which I've been showing and proving. This guy here, his name is Tony Hearns. He goes by Axel Rose here in Napanee. He lives on the corner of Bridge and East Street in a red brick building, and he's guilty of murders too, with his boyfriend Dale Hartwick, who is committing homicides for OPP for drop charges from a stabbing that he committed against his wife's boyfriend because she was fucking another man. This is Dale Hartwick right here. He's possibly has a shaped goatee now, frequents between Kingston and Napanee, and he's a very seriously dangerous child molester. He molested me in Winnipeg, Manitoba. He's a pedophile. He's the one that stabbed his wife's boyfriend, and he's guilty of attempted murder of me. How I am going through all of this shit from what is called remote neuro monitoring back in 2020 or 2019. This is what ex-OPP chief shot me with, was this. Oh, hello there, Project Self. How are you? Yeah, there's been a lot of shit that's been happening to me over the course of 4 years. Okay, I'm gonna get off here, but anyway, I just wanted to come on and say hello. If nobody's gonna talk or nobody's gonna do anything on here, I just came on anyway to say hello and let everybody know what was taking place with me and the crimes that everybody is guilty of, and the cops need to be arrested and charged one way or another. I am going to have it done, and I'm going to sue their fucking asses. $50 million for my mother's murder, $50 million for what has taken place with me, and I am also the end of my bloodline as well, so another $50 million, even though that cannot fix the damage that's been done.